Hi everyone, welcome back for another story time. I'm Miss Julie. Today I'm going to read Sugar and Milk. It's written by Thrity Umrigar and illustrated by Khoa. The author of this story told this story for many years to adults all over. She finally decided to have it put into a children's book. I think you're going to like this story. Sugar and Milk. When I first came to this country, I felt so alone. I knew Auntie and Uncle were happy to have me. They filled my room with books and toys and painted it purple, my favorite color. But my friends and my family were all back home. I missed my mom and dad and my cats, Kofi and Baklava too. After Auntie and Uncle left for work, I sat alone in my room, thinking of my old friends and longing to make new ones. Uncle and Auntie were worried, but didn't know how to help me. Then, one day, Auntie came into my room. "Let's go for a walk," she said with a smile. As we walked, Auntie told me a story. There once lived a group of people in the ancient land of Persia who were forced to leave their home and to seek refuge elsewhere. "Come, my people," said their leader. "Now that we have to leave the home we love so much, we must find a new land that we can call our own." So they built a few boats and sailed the mighty sea until they arrived at the shores of India and begged to be given shelter. But the local king did not want to let them in. "Our land is too crowded," he grumbled, "with no room for others. Besides, these visitors look foreign and speak a strange and different language I do not understand." The king went to the seashore, where the ragged travelers stood, and ordered them to leave. But they couldn't understand him, because he spoke a strange and different language they did not understand. The king sighed impatiently. He snapped his fingers and ordered his servant to bring him an empty glass. He filled the glass with milk all the way to the very top and silently pointed to it. It was his way of saying, "My apologies to you. I would have loved to help. You look like very fine people, even though you speak a strange and different language I do not understand. But just as this glass is filled to the brim with no room for more, so are we full up in my little crowded kingdom." The travelers had come from afar, and they were tired and hungry and cold, and very sad to be turned away. Just then their leader spoke. He was a small and clever man with an ever-present smile on his lips. "Just a minute, O mighty king," he said. "A moment, sir, of your time." And before the king could speak, the leader dug into his old tattered sack and pulled out a spoonful of sugar. He stirred the sugar into the glass slowly, carefully, dissolving every grain of sugar, making sure he didn't spill a single drop of milk. He smiled as he pointed silently to the king's glass. Between two wise people, sometimes words are not necessary. The king understood what the leader meant. If you let us stay, O mighty king, we will live in peace beside all of you. And just like the sugar and milk, we will sweeten your lives with our presence. The king stared at the sweetened milk. His lips twitched. First, he grinned. And finally, he roared with laughter. The king hugged the group of travelers. "Welcome to your new home," he cried. "May you live with us forever in peace and joy." And even though the strangers didn't follow a word the king said, because he spoke a strange and different language they did not understand, everybody knows what a hug means. And all people speak the language of laughter. So no one had a problem understanding what the other meant. Thus, the Persians stayed. India became their new home. And they kept their ancient promise of spreading happiness wherever they went. After Auntie finished telling me this old story, we walked quietly for a few moments. I looked around me, stopped. And then I took another step into the dazzling light of America. Nothing had changed, and yet everything had. I began to smile at the people we passed, and they returned my smile. Everybody I said hello to said hello back to me. Even the dogs seemed friendlier and wagged their tails faster. I laughed out loud and wondered why I had ever been sad or lonely in such a welcoming place. The next day, when I left the house, I asked Auntie for a pack of sugar. I kept it in my pocket to remind me to make things sweeter wherever I wandered. In my new and magical homeland. The end.